monsters lurking at the gate. Heroes rise in the night, doctors wielding magic might. Doctors and dragons in the fray, healing wolves saving the day. Epic quest, danger's call, stand as one, we won't fall.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Doctors and Dragons. As we take our team of doctors through Dragons of Stormwreck Isle, we left our heroes on a tense moment as I went to feed my child a bottle, as our heroes had encountered a dragon chained up on a tower. They'd encountered a blue dragon standing guard over said dragon. Was the dragon bronze, brass, or platinum? There was some confusion. In fact, it was a bronze dragon chained to the tower, a blue dragon standing over it, and several enemies, members from our players past, who were conversing with the dragon, arguing with him even, and no one else but the zombie dragon that had destroyed their ship and left them shipwrecked on the island. And that is where we find our heroes, in the observatory, seeing a chained up dragon, seeing their foes. Kurgan was stealthed nearby, trying to listen, trying to hear more details. The rest of the team was further back. And that's where we pick up. Kurgan, you're listening in, and you see the four people you've already seen: Mary Sue, Six Fingers. You see Dreadbeard the pirate, and, of course, Steelsmart. And as you're watching them, you see a final figure emerge from the tower. Coming up the stairs, no wait, it's two figures. You see a man in a scholar's robe, slightly hunched over, strong hands, but aged skin. And he's leading a much younger person, a person in their 20s, with just a hint of green skin under their cloak. I'm going to reveal those. And as you do so, you can see they're very much arguing about the ritual. And Mary Sue looks at the dragon, looks at the kobolds, snaps her fingers, and every one of the kobolds fall dead. And she looks at the bodies lying around her, wipes a little bit of blood off her with a handkerchief, and says, "Well, that'll speed up the ritual." And the blue dragon sort of looks at her and is like, and returns back to the ritual. And the man in the cloak sort of pulls back his hood, and he looks at Mary Sue and says, "But what do you want to do about the ones listening in?" And he snaps his fingers. And blue light flashes over the observatory, and the three of you suddenly, blue light fills your vision as you find yourselves in a dark room. You find yourselves, you can see each other, but you're spread out amongst the darkness in little pockets of light, little pockets of blue light. And the man in the scholar's robe sits down in front of you, Ashley. And he's wearing a little name tag, and it says, Ada6 Reb. And he sits down in front of you and says, "So what are you doing here?"
How did you know we were here? Where are we? What's going on?
And you see he pulls a deck of cards out of his...
Rude.
And he pulls a deck of cards out of his belt, and he starts shuffling it. And he's shuffling it, and he's shuffling it. And little wisps of blue energy come off each card as he moves it. And he says, "I see many things. I see what has been and been destroyed. I see what is and what's yet to come. And your little group very much interests me. Tell you what, why don't we play a game?" And he shuffles the cards more.
What kind of game? Who are you?
I'm just a humble scholar. I'm working with this group to achieve my own ends, but I'm really all about finding out what's coming next. And I like finding out about people. He shuffles the card. What about a simple game? A simple game, and I'll let you guys out of here. All you have to do is draw a card with a higher number than mine.
How
Can I
into
find out?
Perhaps
And you
he's
can see
one.
that the
Are you
bubbles, the bubbles, actually, you can hear each other. You can hear between it, and there's a shimmer of light, and suddenly there's a cat of 6 red in front of all 3 of you. And it's as if you're having one conversation separated in 3 pockets.
Oh.
And he looks at you, Kurgan, and at you, Vorgrim, and says, I bet you two would be great at playing a game. But the question is, should we find out about your past, your present, your future, or just take it at random chance?
Interesting question. Any thoughts,
What's
guys,
more-
or are we just
What's
stuck
more
here with
likely
this factor?
What's more likely to help us with finding out more about the ritual?
Oh, I can look into the future for you. That's very easy to do. The question is, what's going to stare back at you, and will you like it when you see it?
I'm less interested in my future than the future of one of those individuals fighting that zombie dragon. I
Easy
know him
enough
as
to do.
6 Fingers. I would like to know more of when he will be at his weakest point in the future.
Of course. And should you also wish to gaze into his past, we can't observe something without changing it. But you seem interesting. You seem interesting. What was your name?
I am Volgrim.
And what does a disciple of Bane find himself doing with these two?
Their goals coincide with mine at the present.
And you can see Cata 6 Reb, and you just hear whispers of those 3 words you saw scattered on the cave previously. Destruction, change, restore. He splits his deck of cards into 2 discrete decks, and he places them in front of you. And you can see that one has the image of like a series of woodland animals. It's sort of a nice illustrated, almost crayon-like drawing. And the other has shadows wrapped around a hooded figure. And he sort of points to one and then the other and says, which deck shall we play with? The Deck of Wonder or the Deck of the Watcher?
But yeah, I guess it watches.
And he's
Maybe
got
it
the-
sees things.
He snaps to you, Kurgan. He says, the Watcher it is. And he puts the other deck away for now. And he says, so, would you want to look into the past, the present, or the future? Or let fate decide?
But you said there was a fourth option. Or is that
So-
letting fate decide?
If we let fate decide, we might look into the past, the present, or the future. Or we might draw one of the 2 jokers in the deck. Now, you won't find the jokers if you just pick past, present, or future. But if you do let fate decide, there's a chance you draw them, and let's just say things get very interesting if that happens.
Wait, you don't draw the jokers any other way? You have to do it this way? Fine, that's the, yep, 100%. Let's,
The Joker sounds fun. Let's do that.
Okay, so mechanically how this will work, if you choose to go wild, you will roll a d20, and there are 20 cards that you could potentially hit, including the jokers. If you check past, present, or future, you will have a d6 roll. So there's 6 options in past, present, and future, and there's 2 jokers. You've chosen the Deck of the Watcher. Kurgan, Vorgrim, Ashling, you may each choose whichever deck you wish. But Kurgan, what I want you to do is roll me a d20, and you're going to try and beat what he rolls, and the game will continue until you can beat what he rolls. And they're both going to draw a card. So he's going to get an insight into you, and he's going to draw a card depending on who you want insight into. So what you roll will be what he learns about you, and he'll roll something for whichever character you want to learn more about. Okay, so Kurgan rolled a 10, and he's rolled a 14. Who did you want to learn more about?
him.
Cata 6 Red?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, pull this up.
That looks bad, but it could be good in context.
Okay, so you see, as you draw the 10 card, you see you've drawn the ambush or the rival's gambit. And he sort of looks at it and he says, "Oh, this is very interesting. This is a card of the present. A competitor or enemy is making their move against you right now. They've been planning this moment. Their trap is springing. However, their overconfidence has made them vulnerable." And he sort of pauses. And he looks at you, and he seems to have more knowledge than he should. And he says, "There's a dragon on this island you haven't met yet. And the Discord and Steel Smile have not accounted for that." And then he puts his card down. You're free to respond. I'm going to draw up his card.
Okay. Dragon on the island. They haven't accounted for it. Does that mean the dragon is friendly? Or at least not friendly to them?
Well, whether it's the enemy of your enemy or a friend, either way is beneficial. Dragon's famous for not getting along very well. And he draws the Lost Inheritance. So he draws a card, and I'll describe it because we have audio listeners. He draws a card, and it's a treasure chest overflowing with gold and sort of scrolls and all sorts of family documents. And he sort of looks at it. And he smiles and says, "Yes, I very much am the rightful heir to something, I'll tell you that. The previous owner has passed, and when the time comes right, I will certainly own everything."
You don't strike me as the rightful heir to anything. Or at least nothing gained honestly.
Well, honesty, I think, is overrated. Accepting things.
Says the liar. Interesting.
And he snaps his head to you, Vorgrim. And he says, "Well, looks like our game will have to continue. I do hope there's nothing averse going on with that ritual up there while we're playing. Tell me, Paladin of Bane, what card deck would you like to play with? The Card of Wonder or the cards of the Watcher?"
The Watcher and the Future.
Okay. What you'll need to do is roll me a d6, and he'll roll a d6 for steel. You roll a d6 for you. He will roll a d6 for Six Fingers. Okay. He's rolled a 5, and you have rolled a 2. I'm rolling these in front of the screen too, just so you guys can see I'm not just fudging. Okay. I will pull that up. So, and sorry, Vorgrim, you wanted to know about the future?
Want to know when my enemy will be at his weakest point.
Very good. I would expect nothing less. Okay. So let's start with yours. Okay. So you've rolled a 2. So you see, you turn over the card, and it's the card 2, the Convergence. And you see on the card 4 figures gathered around a 5th, lines spiraling off them and converging on the 5th member. And he looks at it, and he looks at the 3 of you, your whole group that's been brought together seemingly by random chance, facing figures who are not random, facing a group of enemies who very much know you and have encountered you. And he says, "The threads of fate are drawing together. 3 seemingly unrelated events from your past will collide in an unexpected way. This will create for you great opportunity or terrible danger." Now, it's interesting because, well, the Six-Fingered Man is probably one of those 3. But I wonder what other 2 events led to you being here on this island, Paladin of Bane. How did you end up here?
There will be the search for my missing brother. I found myself on the peripheries in service with the Zentarum only because of that failed siege and Harper perfidy, which may have involved the Six-Fingered Man.
And you can see he's drawn the Price of Victory, number 5, and it shows a vampiric-looking noble man holding a chalice. And And he sort of looks at it and his eyes glaze over and flicker blue as he sort of glimpses things in the weave. Yes, you will have the chance to strike at your enemy. There will be a moment when he is weak. There will be a moment when the dragon's ritual distracts him. And when the dragon statue's effect hits, you will be able to strike and cut down your foe. But it will demand a sacrifice. And I don't think it's one you're quite ready to make yet. Success will be bitter in your mouth and taste of ash.
All that I am is worthless before the greater majesty of Bane.
Now that's interesting. I always find Bane disciples very interesting. You don't strike me as the classic Bane disciple. Something's different about you. And he snaps his head to you, Ashley. And he puts the 2 decks down. And he says, what game would you like to play?
Cards of Wonder.
Cards of Wonder it is. Whimsy. Fantastic. Past, present, future, or let fate decide.
Let fate decide.
Okay. Roll me a d20. I'll roll one as well.
Oh no.
Oh, you've rolled a 1. Okay, so Cadisix Reb has rolled a 16. You've rolled a 1. How will we do this? Who did you want to know more about?
This dragon that we haven't met yet.
Absolutely. Let's do that first, then we'll do yours. So you can see he turns over his, and it's number 16, the Surprise Heir. And you see on the card, a confused peasant holds a royal decree while a crown hovers above their head, the nobles panicking in the background. And you see that very much this card, he's very interested. And he says, so the dragon that will show itself is not one who will accept its title. Very glad. This dragon has been in hiding. This dragon did not want to take the crown. But blood runs in its veins. Just as the dragon Asterlagan was buried here beneath the waves, Asterlagan had a daughter. And that daughter very much lives in Dragon's Rest. Tell me, how old do you think Elder Runara is? She's got a lot of stories, doesn't she? She never really told you how old she was.
Quite
Oldest surviving person. Funny that. And we see your card flip over, and it's the 1. Okay, so he looks at you and sort of sees the overconfident bard, and it's a card with a bard standing on a table, rotten tomatoes flying from peasants at him. And he says, tell me of a time when pride got the better of you. Tell me a time when charm couldn't save you from consequences.
It might be the time I tried to fight a zombie dragon in a storm with a knife.
I like this one. And he sort of picks up his deck of cards, and he shuffles them all again, and he says, well, I've very much enjoyed our game. Very much enjoyed our game. And though you haven't managed to draw higher than me, I think your stories have been very interesting. Tell you what, let's do one last round, and winner can take all. Why don't all 3 of you roll? And we'll do the Deck of Wonder. Let's see if you can beat me in one last game. All 3 of you. And I'll get all of you to roll a d20. Okay. So you can see he rolls an 8, and he pulls out a card. So he draws the Diplomatic Owlbear, and he looks at it and he says, yes, perhaps it is time for me to take my leave. Perhaps I do need to follow the rules of etiquette a bit better. And he sees that Vorgrim's rolled a 15, which does in fact beat him. And with a 15, you see that Vorgrim beats him with the Retired Lich. And He looks at it fondly and says, someday. Anyway, I wish you all the best with the battle with young Mary Sue and her compatriots. I'll step out. I don't want to dabble in the affairs of youngsters too much. I hope we meet again. It's been a fun game. Snaps his fingers. You guys all blue light flashes. And you guys are suddenly back on the tower, and a few things have changed. It seems like a small amount of time has passed while you were off with him. I will show you what has changed. So, all the kobolds are gone. Mary Sue, brutal. Bronze Dragon is now chained just to the side of the statue, the golden statue you found, which had the orbiting planets and the planes of the material. Blue Dragon stands atop the golden statue. He is chanting something and summoning some sort of ritual. The zombie dragon is still hanging back where it was. Six Fingers and Mary Sue are on the northeast tower, but a few other things have changed. Dreadbeard is to the southwest with Lenora. Vorgrim, you are suddenly on the northeast tower. Kurgan, you're in the central tower. Aisling, you are to the northwest. And Calliope is with you, Vorgrim, to the northeast. And suddenly you find yourself divided. Each of you is scattered across the different towers. The tower to the southwest needs the crystal key to open it up. And Kurgan, you're currently carrying it. We're not going to jump into the full combat right now, because we don't have the full team. But, one last thing. Aisling. The character who was brought up by Catasix Reb, who had just the faint tinge of green to their skin. They look at you. And they say, "Sister, what are you doing here?" And you see that the hood comes down, and it's your sister from the village. And she looks as she always did, except her skin is the deep green of forest moss. And her eyes are now the deep green of forest moss.
Sister, what happened to you? You look different. And why are you here? Are you okay?
I'm very okay. I'm doing what we have to do. Tell me, sister, when all those bandits kept coming, when they burned all those villages around us, you were always so heroic. I thought, gee, someday I want to be more like Aisling. But the world didn't need another Aisling. It needed someone who got the stuff done that gets your hands dirty.
But what did you do, and why are you green?
Let's just say I found other people who were willing to get their hands dirty, and they've given me a measure of their power. And you can see a little spark of green energy comes off her hand. The term hag gets thrown around so loosely these days, but they're really quite nice if you sit down for a cup of tea.
What do you mean, hag?
You know, the hag of the forest. Brunhilde. All those
You
awful
had tea?
stories about her.
You had tea with a Brunhilde?
Well, let's just say I was tired of bandits burning our villages, and I wanted the power to stop them.
Oh. Do you know the other people around here? The one with the dragons, like the six-fingered man, or all those people?
Oh yes, they're very much aligned with my goals. Good value set, you might say.
What is it they want to do? What are your goals?
The system's broken, sister. How many times do we have to stop bandits coming and burning our village? Or burning the villages around us? Tell me, do you think the system works when bandits just run around slaying people? Do you think that's a system that's worth standing, that a system should stand and not be burnt to the ground like our village was?
Sister, what is your solution then? What is it that you and your companions suggest?
burn it all down. Rebuild from a clean slate. Bring it all to chaos. Bring it all to discord. And then we put it back together. The right way.
Still becoming very philosophical. But who gets to say what the right way is?
We do.
What gives us the right?
This is why I didn't tell you. You've always been such an older sister about these things.
What's this ritual that I'm hearing about with the dragons?
Well, bronze dragon over there, never going to help us out. The blue dragon, however, working on a ritual that could turn him into an undead dragon. Much more compliant. Follows the rules a lot better.
I think I need to try and get to my companions now. I will try to distract Droplet briefly and try to run towards Kurgan.
Sure. How would you like to distract Droplet?
What would surprise her? Steel smile, okay. Let's see. I could try Moonbeam.
By all means.
Which is, I think, a blast of light.
Yeah, sure. Is Moonbeam a save or just hits? I can't remember.
I think it's under, it's a second level, it's a spell. So Circle of Moon, it's got, thank you. How do I tell if it's a hit one or like a hit or a save?
I don't know.
I think it's radiant damage from the prey. It's light damage.
Yeah, I think it just happens reading this.
Yeah.
Oh, there is a she makes a Constitution saving throw, and she'll either take half or. Ooh. Okay, cool. So, Droplet, who's now got a name tag on her that says Brush Fire, is going to make a Constitution saving throw. So she'll get a 17. She'll pass the Constitution saving throw. She'll take 4 points of damage, half of it. But she does take damage. She looks at you, and there's suddenly this rage in her eyes, and you can see that her features, which are normally quite beautiful, suddenly there's a fang that protrudes from her teeth, and the little wart pops up on the right of her forehead. She sort of hisses at you like. We'll cut quickly to Vorgrim, and then we'll come to Kurgan, and then we'll wrap it up. Vorgrim, you stand facing Six Fingers. You stand facing Mary Sue, and Mary Sue's sort of looking at Calliope, and she holds up a book and says, "Actually, I do need to thank you. I need to thank you, Calliope. My sister's been publishing a book, and it's been generating quite a bit of funds for our endeavor. And you can see it's clearly a ripped-off version of Calliope's first novel she attempted to publish, and it's just been rebranded under Betty Sue." Vorgrim, you find yourself looking at the Six-Fingered Man, and he's just staring at you. Doesn't say anything.
Vorgrim will sow discord amongst the enemy. Through a colossal lie, he will attempt to deceive Six Fingers. He will turn towards Mary Sue and say, "Thank you very much. You've held up your end of the bargain magnificently. I accept your offering," and point towards Six Fingers. And then I'm going to use my paladin ability, Champion Challenge. As a bonus action, it makes Six Fingers have to take a wisdom saving throw, or he can't willingly move more than 30 feet away from me.
Wisdom saving throw? Absolutely.
He's not going to run away.
What's the wisdom save? DC?
The DC is 12.
Yeah, he got a natural 20 plus 1. But it's interesting because you say that, and he looks at you, and sort of recognition glimmers in his eye, and his face ripples, and the face you're looking at shifts and becomes your face, and his whole body shifts to look just like you. And he looks at you, and sort of his head cracks unnaturally, like, It's always the Harpers. I do Lord Bane's work. The Harpers are evil. And he's just mocking you. He's just mocking you. And you notice that the only cue that's different is that his... Actually, roll me a perception check. No, you don't clock it, sorry. Kurgan, we come to you. So, to set the scene, bad dragon on top of good dragon on the statue. Ritual, dark energy swirling. 5 sort of dragon effigies, crudely made by the kobolds, presumably, have appeared on that main tower. And they're glowing with their own energy. You find Steel Smile staring at you, just spinning a dagger, just smirking at you. You had the crystal key that could open the bridge. And only you are probably swift enough to do so. What do you do?
How's the new joy, you son of a bitch?
Always thought you were a little shit. He sort of cracks his jaw. It's clearly like, this is clearly not comfortable. Like he's clearly had dental work that was not A grade.
You know, I was a little shit, wasn't I? Being a little shit doesn't mean you get to take my fucking fangs.
And he just reaches up to a little necklace around his head. He's like, taken plenty of fangs in my time. Maybe I'll take your friend's fangs. I don't think you can stop me.
You know, maybe I can't. But he holds up his hand and the crystal key is not in it anymore. And you see it floating along in an invisible mage hand towards the pillar where Lenora is. He says, "But I reckon I can with some help." As the key sits into the lock and the bridge opens up to where Lenora is doing whatever she's doing with Dreadbeard.
Absolutely. And the crystal key inserts and beam of light shoots out, illuminating the area with Dreadbeard. Lenora is backed into combat with Dreadbeard. They are swinging wildly at each other. Light is flaring as she casts spells, and his blade is carving at her. And as that all happens, we will pick that up next time. Okay. Very good. Deft. I forgot.
Bro, it's misdirection, eh?